Welcome to a brand new edition of Big Ooh Top 20 Countdown. This week, we're counting down the top 20 R&B songs. Plus, we're talking to our guest, Pooey. You guys, let's get into it. The number 20 song comes from Elamini. This song was called Someday. Let's get into it. Someday by Elamini. No, number 20 on Big Old Top 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, that was number 19 song, one of my favorites. SZA, 30 for 30, featuring Kendrick Lamar. We're talking to our guest. How you doing, man?
What's happening?
Let my listeners know about yourself.
Shoot, I hear you over there with a young R&B countdown. I mean, I'm a music geek. I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
bit of a radio geek, TV geek, comic geek. We can play around a little bit. We can talk a little bit of film. If you get a little too avant-garde, we might have a problem with that. But of course, I am a performance artist extraordinaire and a published author extraordinaire.
Okay.
We're gonna have some fun today, I believe. I see you over there in your Blues Brothers suit without the hat. Where's the Bluesmobile? Is it an old Dodge, Royal Monaco or something like that?
It's gone for a second. It's parked in the garage.
Did you trade it for a microphone?
Yeah, I did.
I'm saying
So,
though, you got to know your cultural references, or else
for real, for
nobody can
real,
have any fun. So
for
ain't that America
real,
home of well, let me be careful. Be careful.
yeah, for
I
real.
was about to say a thing
You know
that
what?
might not be
Look,
true
look at
anymore.
my uniform, so I got to wear it.
Yeah, so like yeah, you're kind of like a mortician or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it sometimes.
Like
So
what for the
you say you have a lot. You're a performance artist. How did you get into that?
man? I've always been an artist in general of some sort. In recent poems I've been writing, just talking about this whole business of being a creative, and that comes from many things. I mean, for instance, like Star Wars, like a first love. It's like my earliest memory of life. Seeing that commercial on TV, seeing the commercials for them toys on TV, and just be one to be an artist, one to create, one to design, one to build cool things. Whether it was video games, giant robots. I don't know if real life giant robots probably might not have been a very safe thing. Probably might have used a lot of fuel too, as you can see on Pacific Rim. So that's not a real thing. Or neither are superheroes. I don't think we want a bunch of superhumans running around. Terrorizing LA and New York and places like that. That'd probably be pretty violent. But yeah, no. As far as getting into being a performance artist, I mean, shoot, it's the hip hop for one. I mean, I'm Gen X, and hip hop, hits us right in the face. If you grew up in the '70s or grew up in the '80s like I did, it was always a good bit of something going on. The dances came to me. Like seeing the popping,
Yeah.
seeing the locking, seeing the breaking, grabbing that cardboard, things like that. Was I that great at it? Yeah, probably not. And as rap began to kind of take the forefront, you know, um, it was that, and being a big fan of Shel Silverstein, and some of those kind of poems that made me say, okay, why don't I pick up the pen and see what's good. Um, wrote my first one I was 10, but I was still mainly focused on drawing.
Mhm.
At the second one 11, third one at 14. Then
Mhm.
high school comes around. It's like, okay, I'm still drawing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you're trying to see what these girlies want to do. Trying to see about them honeys as well.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by the jocks, the banksters, and all that.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, kind of like Dub C said, telling a tale of when he was in the joint, and said for the next few months he was rapping his ass off. So it was a thing like, okay, like maybe not the spit itself wasn't there yet, but it was a whole thing regarding just get the pen, was talking about this with some folks, over some dinners and phone calls the past few days. But you're hearing leaders in the new school, you're hearing DOS effects, you're hearing CL Smooth do his thing. Grew up on Kane, grew up on lot of those great staples of the craft. And you said, okay, well, let me see what I can do, and started figuring it out. Maybe a little bit of miggity miggity at first. And then started going places like Good Life or whatever. Like, no miggity miggity. Yeah, that probably is a good idea. No miggity miggity. But you start studying over time. Just kind of watching the way to really do it. Watching how the best were. Maybe not like Kane going over Dougie Fresh's house and grabbing James Brown performance tapes or anything like that, but just really kind of keying in on those records and loving what I was hearing. Chris KRS One's another big influence. I was talking about how that BDP Edutainment album got me through ninth grade, and
Oh,
warm my dome up. It was about Black consciousness, so I was seeking that out as well at the same time, and got found my way towards the 5% Nation. With my man Akim, who was in the same school. My man Akim is from Cipher Seven, legendary
okay,
legendary rap group. Out of Project Blowed.
okay.
So there's a lot of history to that too. If I was to tee off, but yeah, that as far as musically, it was those folks, as well as DITC digging in the crates. Hearing them, alongside Pete Rock and what Premier was doing with Gangstar, Guru himself with the raps as well. But yeah, hearing Showbiz and AG, Diamond D, a lot of those folks in the Digging in the Crates crew, and just the idea of digging in the crates, like, okay, like you're not just doing the usual rapping over James Brown, rapping over Zap and stuff like that. It was like, yeah, let's freak this instead. Let's program stuff, let's chop, let's do flips, all those different things. So it got me interested in doing the beats as well. And over time, which we'll get into a little later, uh, started to find folks that had the machines, of the time that were really where the good dope stuff was made. The SP 1200s, the MPC 60 was kind of the early one. And ASR 10s and stuff like that. you know, I remember the W30 being one of like the early keyboards at the time. So again, like I said, bro, music geek.
Yeah.
So all these different things, picking up the rap mags, rap pages, source, rap sheet. So I was just like hungry, 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 hungry
Okay.
to create and
Oh
and do
wow.
it and do it my way, like Frank Sinatra. I was real hungry, and after a while, and after a pretty early while, that helped me start finding them peers in this, and
That's cool. That's cool.
that was a starting point for me. Go ahead.
Wow, that's really cool. We're gonna talk more to you, but let's get back in this countdown. The number
Oh yeah.
18 song from Century. This song was called Only Human. Let's get into it. Number 18, Century with Only Human on the Go Stop 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
see.
number 17 song, Legacy with Love You Too, one of my very favorites on this countdown. And we're talking to our guest. Kuahmel. You know what, man? I want you to pronounce your name. And is that your given name, or is that your stage name?
See why you got to do that though? Why you got to do that though? See, just some out of pocket questions, and then people got to be like, why you gonna do that? Why you want to know my government name?
That's why.
But
That's why
but no, 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 no,
we're
no, no. What'd you say?
it's just the interview process, brother. We gotta ask you a
Uh-huh.
question.
A likely story. A likely story. Now, but actually, let's
Mhm.
talk. Let's talk about that a little bit. Yeah, there's things like street names. There's things like
Mhm.
stage names. There's things like pen names. Of
Mhm.
course, there's the name your parents gave you because they love you. It's not your government name. Maybe if your code name Foxfire or 007 or on the Impossible Mission Force or something like that, maybe you got a government name. But Then there's the idea of the righteous name.
Okay.
Now, once again, seeking out Black consciousness, I find my way, after checking out, different things like Nation of Islam and hearing about some of these other groups that are out there, but also, giving Christianity a shot too. Come across the 5% Nation, and they were talking an idea that I liked. The idea of the black man being God. Or as I begin to explain it, the divinity of humanity, and as such, I found a home in it. And I found brotherhood in it. It felt like the right foundation, the right place to be. And yeah, I began to want it. I said, okay, maybe I didn't know how to full on seek it at first, but like probably within a few months of being around, I was asked, did I have supreme mathematics, which is the first thing we begin with in our
Mm-hmm.
teachings, and I was like, no, okay. But I also saw that brothers around me, had their names, names that were corresponding with their having this knowledge, as well as rappers I loved, or other folks, whether it's Rakim, his name, or Kane having the name King Asiatic God Allah,
Mm-hmm.
as well. Grand Pooper from Brand Nubian, his name being He Allah God Islam, but also called
Mm-hmm.
himself Haji. So I mean, being surrounded by the born laws, the Meeks, the Just Lives of the world, the Ja Rules, the Akims of the world, I said, all right, well, let me take my name. So I went through some other names over time. It was too soon. We were all young. I'm what, shoot, 17 years old, being taught by cats that was 21, 23, 25 years old.
Wow.
Versus how the father of the 5% Nation, I call him Allah the Father. Many may know him by his Nation of Islam name, but that's a dead name for him. Being clear certain X, because of course he had been out of the Nation of Islam for many years while having his 5% Nation before he passed on. But the father
Mm-hmm.
was what, like 35 years old, teaching these teenagers. So there's a little difference in the way it was received, but after going through some names at a time I wasn't ready, which I learned later on that I wasn't ready for it. I eventually arrived at Kuahmel, and I was like, okay, that seemed like the right fit. And in the 5% Nation, we draw our names up from the supreme mathematics, our foundational early teachings. And the supreme mathematics are kind of basic principles that correspond with everything that goes on in the cosmos. To not just without making it sound all boom beam, but I mean, it's simple numerology, simple order, simple code of our world. And yeah, it was a name that fit for me. I used to have um, different other names. Try to call myself tagging. Everybody was like doing that around, when I was in eighth grade. That didn't stick. I didn't really vibe with it. I couldn't take that on, but I had the name like Adam. I tried to take on another name, Mad. Rapping, I took on names like Odd Man Out. That was, maybe it might have been fly, but like I said, I said I was the odd man out back when I began. Then I was obscure, and I spelled it some SKY instead of SC, so that was crazy. But I said that was my plan. I know that I'm the man thinker, but that name was bland, so I chose to be myself. Now I'm seeing some fans, and that was the way I explained in one of the cuts.
Okay.
Yeah, just dropped all those rap names. Pretty much, kind of, took an approach like a lot of gods, but also took an approach like how a Keith Murray would do, where it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have no street name. It was like, shoot, I'm just Billy Badass on my own. I'm Keith Murray. Like, here, get these crazy spaced out bars and piss off Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So
You know what? You know what? I
Yes.
want to complete that when we come back. When we have to take a break real quick because we have to get back in this countdown. The number 16 song comes from Flo, and this song is called On and On. Let's get into it. On and On by Flo on Big Woo! Stop 20 countdown, baby. Yeah, I stole that from Soul Train. Yeah. You guys, that was the number 15 song, Coco Jones with Taste. And now it's time to get into the first extra song of the week. First extra song of the week is by artist. He was supposed to be on the show last week. But we're not gonna talk about that. He was supposed to be on this week, but we're not gonna talk about that. This his name is Moan's Army. Let's get into it. Moan's Army. This song is called Analytics and Poems. Let's get into it. Analytics and Poems, the first extra song of the week by Moan's Army on Big O's Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, yo, that was a very, very awesome song. Analects and Poems by Mom's Army. We're talking to our guest, Kuahmel. Kuahmel. Okay,
Kuahmel.
Kuahmel.
It's Kuahmel, man. Kuahmel.
Kuahmel.
Like
Kuahmel.
Kwame, Kuahmel.
This is why I didn't want to say it.
But this is why I got to get up in everybody about it though, because okay, let me go in a little bit, and just so the audience knows, I concentrate on poetry. I'm a published author, and I'm a
Yeah,
performance poet. But let me go in a little bit. So, remember that show Orange is the New Black that used to be on Netflix? Remember old girl that
yeah,
played Crazy Eyes, Uzo Aduba?
yeah, yeah.
She said in an interview once that, her mother, kind of was on her about how she'd be surrounded by white folks
Yeah.
that they weren't Anglo-American, and I mean, of course, America, we come from all over the place, and as well we got the indigenous people of this land, who I feel this land truly belongs. So if it's going to belong to anybody, though, the
Absolutely.
indigenous nations will explain in their own way. But to get to the point, she talked about how, okay, like, look, these people got all these names, these Polish names like Idzikowski, and these Slavic names, even Nisevich and all this other stuff. So it's
Mhm.
like, why not make them learn your name? It's like, hey, okay, it was Uzo for short. I forgot like the whole, because it's actually like short for a longer name. And this was like, hey, okay, yeah, own it. Like, instead of being like, oh, well, they can't just call me Mary, or something like that. Like, nah, do the cultural exchange. And that's kind of same thing I do in my poems. I mean, there's certain things I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't want you to uh treat myself or my people any kind of funky way, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
but I'm gonna give you a taste of the culture, and like, why not do the work to learn culture that's coming from me, coming from any of my people, and don't try to call yourself the normative Mr. Smith, Mr. Walker, Mr. Brown, or
Yeah.
whoever. Yeah, nah, like, we're gonna decentralize, and we're gonna treat this thing like all culture matter. All cultures matter, and it's all worthy of its proper respect and proper dignity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a question. Let's switch gears a little bit. How many poetry books do you have published?
As at the moment, as of this interview, I have one full length collection, and I'm working on the next one. Like, I'm really trying to have everything fit my working title, which I will not give away because I don't want anybody stealing it at the moment. But I'm
Okay.
also published in a couple of anthologies called Knowledge of Self, which was before I got onto the poetry scene. Was a, it's an anthology of 5% brothers and sisters, building on the science, everything in life. It's a collection of writings on the science, everything in life, and that's on Supreme Design Publishing, still available to this day. You find it in just about any black bookstore. As well,
Yeah.
4 years later, after with 4 years later, 2 years into entering the poetry scene, I was published in a book, a number of poems of mine in a book called Sounds from the Waters, and that's on Still Waters Publishing, which was started by the brother Food for Thought,
Mm.
O'Shea Kwaluja, and his wife, Queen Socks. and they led a heck of a workshop, Stillwater's Writers Workshop, which was born out of their Stillwater's performance series, over in Inglewood, California. And we would get up in there, and how they first taught us to kind of go in with the pen was to um, write from descriptors of the words that they gave. They would pluck four words and say, okay, don't use the word, but
Mhm.
hint at the word, and give proper descriptors of the word. So it's kind of like in Karate Kid, doing the wax on, wax off, right circle, left circle, sand the floor like this. And
Yeah.
these things were basically showing the movements that Miyagi taught Daniel. And similarly, these ways of moving the pen were showing us how to find the poetic inside these words, and basically inside of the piece that we were doing. Just keeping the pen moving nonstop for 10 minutes. 10-minute boy. And
Boy.
that made goal a lot of time. Also,
Yeah.
one thing we would figure out, and I'll throw back to you, was that uh, people would often say, "Oh, that's all I had," but often it was that you kind of did finish. You did finish the thought. You did finish the exercise. You did make a complete poem, and
Hmm.
it was worthy of hearing. It was worthy of putting out there. But these are the things that everybody had to figure out about themselves as writers. And that's the thing I would go out and let folks know, that we're having doubt about their work. We could talk about that too, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's important for any artist listening, any person that's expanding their craft, to know what they've got together, and how strong it really is.
I want you to do me a favor. I know you probably have a couple of poems already ready. I want you to get ready to spit one because when we come back, we're gonna have you spit one of your poems live.
Right at, right after them Silky Quiet Storm jams, yes, sir.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get back in this countdown. Number 14 song comes from Neo. This song is called Show Me. Let's get into it. Show Me by Neo on Big Old Top 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, we did a three in a row for you. We did Neo with Show Me. We did number 13 was Camper with Waiting on You featuring Tony Braxton. And number 12 was Kevin Ross with Love in the Middle.
Ooh,
Now it's
Kevin
something
Ross.
to now it's time to get into the comedy corner. We're going to go to the comedy corner first because it's this band's birthday, so we gotta spotlight him. So the comedy corner comes from Kev on Stage. Let's get into it. Kev on Stage, comedy corner by the birthday man on Big Old Top 20 Countdown.
Mr. Spectrum himself.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. That was the great Kev on Stage. Now we can talking to our guests. Yo, you ready for your poem? Soul Brother number 7.
Well, shoot, since you asked so nicely, I suppose we could talk about a little something, something, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's go in a
Get
little
your
bit.
poem.
Let's let me celebrate this artistic family, this poetry family. Let's
Yeah.
let's play with that a bit. This one's called Glad We Are Tribe. Glad
Okay.
We Are Tribe. Check it out. At a time I should have been caressed in the rest I needed, I decided I needed to reflect. I took a word, thought picture of this family that I managed to build, not from loin erections, but other important connections, people between which are exchanged mutual guidance and protection, plus boundless joy I employ by paying forward to new human family I make. Same human family I made, walking amongst the wildflowers. Made suffering death by comb that can't run through mind kinks. Made stomping on the black box to improvise flash flight at a new height. Made out here dishing bear hugs to mutual honey friends. Made in garages in Latino parts of town. Made knocking down pancakes, pushing pins, and peering into souls. Made mad true after long trips that made for hot tires. Made with Northeast accented black dresses and rap royals organizing words that confused me for a bit. Made stronger with brethren who were partners in lessons I studied thick and quick, then understood later as teachers and creators. Made with youth whose attention I had, whose progression I'm glad to be partially responsible for. Same human family I made in winter, la la with like carols for months to come after, and riff with in nightclubs for many chapters. Same human family who fed me spiritual food, sketched new worlds of chaos, and considered things I opted not to do, but shoulda. Same human family I got through police encounters with, wrenched on cars with, learned to tackle it all one day at a time with. The prime knowledge, prime wisdom, prime understanding I gain all remains. I share it with all who are come here and all who come next. As this artist adventure continues, maybe you'll listen when I tell you stuff. Maybe the youth,
Hmm.
maybe the elder, maybe the love interest, maybe the business interest, maybe the peer, maybe the fan. Maybe you'll make future alongside me as the tribe mind expands.
Wow, I like that.
All right, snappity, snappity. I see you,
Wow,
host. I see you,
I like
host.
that. I like that. I like
I see
that.
you, sir.
Do you have a favorite poem that you've written?
A favorite poem or song because I've come to understand in my studies the poems and songs are the same thing. You
Pretty
know,
much.
I think there's many of them that do carry different strengths to them. There's one I cut a while ago that I really should put out a long time ago. Like back when I started to figure out, like I was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting nice with the pen. I'm really starting to beast out. It was a joint I wrote called Public Figures,
Okay.
and it was telling them stories, and I said, wow, okay. I was able to properly paint a picture, and make it come alive, and it just really kind of impressed me at the time. It was a weird year for me, but creatively, I was starting to find that groove that much more. I mean, I remember people, would say when I was a teen, like, okay, yeah, it would have been nice for you to put some on. I was like, nah, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. But one of my brethren said, maybe you're deflecting your greatness, deflecting the blessings, and you know, it's probably important not to do that. Something I
Yeah.
do take into consideration. Um, Another one I would like to talk about. I was actually talking about this yesterday with a poet at a function,
Okay.
and it was just about how LA didn't have like those tunes or those missives that really talked about this city, and really gave you like that feel of what LA is really like beyond what people tend to think. And unlike what New York will kind of always expand upon there. So I've written a piece called In This City,
Okay.
and that one turned out to be like a huge staple, a huge signature. It's on my album On the Fly, that is on my Bandcamp,
Okay.
kuahmel.bandcamp.com. I put out 2 albums, and yeah, it's time for some new there as well. But yeah, the music is thick, and yeah, it's telling them tales
Is
that
it,
need to be
is it
told.
spoken word? Is it spoken word music, or are you rapping on it, or on those albums, or are you just spoken word?
I'd like to think rap is spoken word, just like stand up comedy is spoken word. I mean, it's not singing, but it is rhythmic American poetry. So I think it handles the job quite well. Now I will say, however, but yes, it is a rap song because it is riding the beat quite strong. Versus some that a good brother named Sekou Andrews talked about, because he comes out of beats and rhymes as well, and he's now like a very dope motivational speaker poet. And he talked about how you get on that stage and you ain't got that beat in back of you. Let the words breathe. Let them
Yeah.
open up. You're not chasing the beat with your words. You're not chasing the beat with your breath and with your tongue, and trying to keep up and make sure you keep time. You ain't got James Brown or Little Richard cracking the whip on you. So like go ahead and let people hear the words flow. Because you got an internal cadence.
Um,
You got a cadence that you trained to that. So let them hear it.
yeah, and that's really, really deep, and that's really, really true. We're gonna get back to you. Let's get back in this In the meantime, I want you to get another poem together because I want you to spit next. After we do this, we're gonna hear from you. Let's get back into this countdown. The number 11 song comes from 803 Fresh. This song is called Boots on the Ground. Let's get into it. Boots on the Ground by 803 Fresh on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, that was the number 10 song, Give On with 20s. Man, I miss those years of 20s. I'm twice that now. Oh my God. Now it's time to get into the second extra song of the week. Second extra song of the week comes from Mozambique, another Mozambique song. The song is called Yellow Brick Oz Promo. Let's get into it. Yellow Brick Oz Promo by Mums Army on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all. Don't get me to start trying to sing that because I don't know the words. I'll make up something. Go yellow brick broke, yellow brick broke, what? Yellow brick broke, yellow. Oh,
You might want to head up to a karaoke spot and and just chase the words.
yeah. Now it's time to get into. Come on, man. You ready to do another one? Ready to do another poem?
I don't know, man. I feel like I might have to, go have nature call in the bathroom or something like that. Yeah, man.
Uh-oh.
I think I can handle that just for you, brother. Just for you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, do it. Come on with it.
All right. Just like we were talking about, it's those LA stories, man, and we don't talk about them enough. So let's get into a little bit of that, shall we? This
Mhm.
is our story is important. I wish we told it more. It's time to tell our story more, tell the finer details. LA has a beautiful smile and should let it gleam as it sinks its teeth into our minds with its history. The records the Central Avenues bought at Dolphins of Hollywood, the burgers cooked at Millie's and Fat Burger that were that damn good and were the pleasant surprise on the days when the smog smarted one's eyes. Our story is important. From New Club, Alabama, to when Bunchy caught that unfortunate blam. From Fremont and Manual Arts Lockers to Don Campbell, Shabadoo, and Tony Basil and Rerun dancing as the Lockers. We must connect the dots, connect the seeds with fertilization and germination and water to build the garden. The garden we all keep weeds from choking because our story is important. We share that story with enthusiasm. Get Dre and Quick and Battle Cat to speak history that interacts where the far sides of freestyle fellowships and alcoholics accounts overlap. We need to hear that LA rap. Bring it back so we can all learn them facts about Soul Brothers and Scheme Team Dancing and Shaka Graffin, Michael Collier on Venice Beach, or Robin Harris, a comedy act having us laughing, Patrice Rushing, graduating from Locke with a record press from a singing workshop, immortalized. So we forget her not. She'll remind us how lucky we are in love with this darling city. Its story is important. Our story is important and needs to be told.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. How did you get involved with the Sims library of poetry?
He had to get involved with Sims himself. That guy, what a
Briefly tell
character!
me
What
that
a character!
story. Man.
Wait, say it again one more time.
Briefly tell me that story. Briefly.
Briefly, yes, indeed. Probably running out of time, yeah, because how am I? No, I'm just stop. But yeah, nah, that brother, he's a part of my year 2 or 3 of being in the game, and I would see him around town. This smiling brother. He's out there working his book, Photoetry on Figueroa Press, and I'm out there working my poetry like a stand up comic. Doing my thing, going to functions like 4 or 5 times a week at a time. Like I said, I was hungry, so I was sinking my teeth in and getting them words off, making LA get to know me. And as he talked about one joint he liked off of my album, and he decided to start this program called Community Literature Initiative, CLI for short, based off of all these, dope people he was meeting around town, and it was electric to do because it was a lot of homies, it was a lot of my folks that were getting up into this. I joined in season 3, and that generated the book Peace in the Pocket from that. And, I would point folks toward it, for seasons 4, seasons 5 and 6, was playing great people. And around that same time, he was having to bring books for some of his students who couldn't find books,
Yeah.
couldn't find poetry books. And in brief, the rap, to put it in a nutshell, somebody told him that the suitcase was like a little Sims library of poetry. He
Oh
said, you
wow.
know what? He's like, yeah, I like the sound of that. So in 2017, he starts, getting donations and built some shelves, built a desk or two, put a computer up in there, put books up in there. And before you know it, the Sims Library of Poetry was founded in his garage.
Oh
Then,
wow.
then a few years later, he and his wife had to have a fight a little bit, and he ended up moving it inside of their old preschool.
Oh
And
wow.
there it stands on Florence Ave in South Central Los Angeles to this day, the Sims Library of Poetry.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. We're going to talk more to you, but let's get back in this countdown. The number nine song comes from Coco Jones. This is a former number one song. The song is called Here We Go. Uh-oh. Let's get into it. Here we go. Uh-oh. Number nine, Coco Jones on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown, baby. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, we did three in a row for you. We did number nine, Coco Jones with Here We Go. Uh-oh. Number eight was Jay Brown with True Love. And number seven was the great Eric Benet with the awesome Shantae Moore with So Distracted. Now it's time to get into the Independent Song of the Week. Independent Song of the Week, y'all know I got to put at least one of my songs on here. And this song is doing really, really well. I'm really, really happy. Even though the pastor told me to take it down, I kept it up and it's doing really, really well. And I'm really, really happy. This song is called Running Around. Let's get into it. Running Around by me, the Independent Jam of the Week on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. You're running around doing gate that you're I can't really say that. Oh, you guys, that was my song. If you guys knew, it was formerly the song was formerly called Gay for Crit. But because of the pastor, I had to
How many,
take
how
it
many?
down and rename it, huh?
No, it was like how many like Ralph Crandall on Honeymooners. But you
Yeah,
regain composure. You're doing good. You're doing good. You're good. You're good at
yeah,
this. You're good at this
I had to
broadcast
do it.
thing.
I had to do it. I had to do it. But I said, you know what? It's doing too good. I'm not going to take it down. But you guys, speaking of taking it down, we're talking to our guests. What's next for you, sir? What's next for you? Briefly,
It's
briefly.
Kuahmel here. It's Kuahmel. Yes. What's next is whatever the universe provides, and it's time to seize it. There's things I'm looking to speak into existence. Looking at you, Kaveh Khanum, looking at you, AWP in Baltimore, which stands
No
for
way.
Association of Writers and Writing Programs. Locally in Southern California, I got performances at Burbank Public Library and at Lopez Urban Farm in Pomona, California, on that's Saturday, April 19. And
Okay.
there's more bookings to come because I just got through debuting a brand new set that this world needs to hear. So it's going down real big. Gonna be back in the studio soon, and
Mm,
it ain't gonna be just the rhymes. It's gonna be the free verse as well.
okay.
That's got a place on record too. So all you poets out there, please understand. It's time to make dope records, not just for the Grammys, people. Not just try and chase
Yeah.
JIV and Tank and the Bangers, but to make those good ones, those classics that sit alongside Gil Scott, Heron, Watts, Prophets, Last Poets, Nikki Giovanni, Hockey Mata Booty, and all those good records that we used to listen to, them needle droppers that
Mm,
make your man Big O right here want to put it on this top 20 countdown. Yes, indeed.
yeah.
Yes, find that
Yeah.
soul, find that funk, find that jazz. Take them to the house of the jazz or the funk or the rhythm, like my man Q-Tip would say. You got to do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to talk more to you. We're going into your business next. But let's get back into the countdown. The number six song comes from Summer Walker. This song was called Heart of a Woman. Let's get into it. Heart of a Woman, number six, Summer Walker on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, that was a song named by Leon Thomas. The song is called Mutt. I actually do like that song. But now it's
Yeah.
time to get to Old School Jam of the Week. Old School Jam of the Week comes from a country artist. Usually we do R&B, but this time we're gonna do country. This
Hmm.
artist, his birthday, And so we're gonna come up with this song. It's called Something Like That. Let's get into it. Something Like That by the awesome Tim McGraw. Let's get into it. Tim McGraw with Something Like That, the old school gem of the week on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown, baby.
Who said
Yeah.
black people didn't like country?
You guys, that was the awesome old school gem of the week, something like that. I like that song. Down, I don't get me. I don't want to start singing country. I don't want to start singing country, but I can do it if I want to. No, but
It's
it's
your
time to
show,
get to
sir.
your business. It's time to get into your business.
Take us there. What you want? What you want to know, sir?
What does your love life look like, brother? Give me. I
Oh
want to
my
get
God!
your
What is this? What is this? You really try to be podcasty and manosphere. You better watch it, man.
wow.
I mean, I like me some good loving. I'm a quality time love language kind of guy. Trying to see about somebody. It's just when somebody want to see about me.
Okay.
I'm like that guy Amir Usher on YouTube. Like, I'm a want the person who wants me back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put all this energy into somebody that don't. That's just stupid at any age. So yeah, nah, but I'm gonna say a thing though, shoot them shots though. You can't you miss 100% of shots you don't take. Don't be raggedy. Don't be raggedy, and don't be mad. Don't be going sour grapes if you get rejected and all that. But
Yeah.
you gotta put yourself out there, man. And
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like that. Oh, you personally. I'm talking about just our brothers and men in general.
Yeah.
There's just not enough saying peace. There's
Yeah.
as I talk about in one of my other pieces, called Somebody's Son. There's beautiful people, vibey people, emotionally intelligent people, worth waking up next to every morning, not finding each other. And I think a lot
Yep.
of it is in this culture, because as a poet, I'm a social commentator and a humorist. But to the social
Yeah.
commentary point, there's a lot of stuff getting put out there, that's having a bad effect on all of us, and it's like they're trying to dissuade us from finding each other. And we beautiful,
Yeah.
we beautiful out here. We dress well, we smell good, we funny people, all that.
Yeah.
And we probably make real good love too if you pass the test, like Aretha Franklin used to say. But you see all this raggedy, foul mouth, freaking bad attitude material online that's always bad mouthing the opposite sex, bad mouthing other groups and all that, and it make you think like, what's the use? What's the point? And it's just like same with the voting thing, and I'm not going to get political here, but it's taken away the power of really, really, really putting yourself out there, really, really expressing what you got going on with you, or what's on your mind, or what you want to do, and
Wow.
it's just like the same thing with your goals. You try to speak them goals into existence. You got to work them goals too, though. Get the
You're
work
right about that.
with that love life as well.
You're
So
right about that.
hey, I mean, like I said, that nice slimmy, that nice thickums, just that nice cuddly mama, hasn't uh, popped out yet as the one, but
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I'm dating. I'm seeing what's happening. I'm dating.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, we're going to talk more to you, but let's get back in this countdown. The number four song, for the sake of time, we got to get back. Number four is Kendrick Lamar and SZA with Luther. Let's get into it. Luther, number four on Big Old Stop 20 Countdown. Yeah, y'all, we did a three in a row for you. We did Kendrick Lamar and SZA with Luther, number four. Number three was Teddy Swims with Are You Even Real? And number two was the legend of the countdown, Chris Brown, the former number one. That song was called Residual. Now it's time to get into the number one song. The number one song is by one of my absolute favorites of all time. Uh, I like her music. She's not really one of my favorites, but I'm gonna say I like her music. It's Money Long with Superpowers. Let's get into it. Superpowers, Money Long, number
Nice
one
jams.
on the Gold Top 20 Countdown. Yeah,
Best
y'all,
jams. Jamaican jams.
that was an awesome money long. Uh, how can people reach you, brother?
Oh, this wonderful social media landscape done changed. But
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm on the staples. You know, I'm on the book face. I'm on the Instagram. You know, I'm on Blueski, as I like to call it, Blue Sky that is, and Spill. You know, I still got a presence on the dreaded X. But yes,
Okay.
at all of them at Kuahmel, Kuahmel. You know, I got a young link tree too. You know,
Okay.
linktr.ee slash Kuahmel. You know, see some good vids on there. Little something on the YouTube channel. There's actually some good stuff coming. You know, so just seek out the name Kuahmel. You know, if you see some raggedy on there, you know, you could approach me about it, and you know, I'll address it because you know I'm a brother that's trying to grow and change. You know, don't try to call yourself owning me because I might have to smack you back. But you know, I'll
Uh-oh.
own you back. But
Uh-oh.
you know, if you want to have a discussion about some things that maybe you find controversial, you know, we can get into it because how else can I be made smarter? How else can you be made smarter? We're here to grow, and
That's
that's what I talk
true.
about in
That's
the
true.
poems too, brother.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to our guest, Kuahmel. Also want to say thank you to all the stations that carry it, the Black FM, Kill Radio. We reunited with them again.
Oh yeah,
The Atlanta radio station, what's it called? Spotify, Apple Music. Everybody who's carrying us, I want to say thank you so much. And if you want to reach me, just reach me at www.linktree.com/OLU You'll find this show, dot banjo. You'll find this show, and you'll also find a whole bunch of other stuff. Plus, you'll find like the brand new album coming out in a couple of weeks called 4525, The Journey of the Fearless Gemini. And oh, thought for the week: never give up, no matter what nobody else tells you. And we're going to end this with a gospel song. You know, we always end this with a gospel song. The gospel song that I want to end this with is one of my favorites. It's by Vicky Winans. The song is called "Long as I Got King Jesus," the remix. Let's get into it. Long as I got King Jesus, the remix. May God bless you. May God keep you until we